All right. Now we got our resident hip hop expert with us, Jonathan. And Jonathan, can you hear me? Let me see. How do I fix this? Shoot.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. What's going on, man?
What's up? What do you think about this this death of Pop Smoke? And you know more about hip hop than me. You'd probably heard of him before. I'd never heard of him before today. But what do you think? Am I ice cold with this theory on 50 Cent, or what's your take on it?
Well, it's a lot to it. Well, first of all, he came out with a song called "Welcome to the Party."
Right.
That came out last July, and that song was considered, the song of the summer last year. So he's from Brooklyn, and so the song was everywhere. And that's how I heard it last about 7 months ago, right?
Okay.
So, more or less, right? So he now.
Shoot, Jonathan. For some reason you're cutting out. For some reason your thing's cutting in and out.
Oh, okay. Hold on. All right, hold on. Can you hear me better?
That's way better.
Okay. Yeah, so he came out with a mixtape last July. The lead single was "Welcome to the Party." That was buzzing everywhere, right?
Okay.
And so now he just came out with another mixtape on the 7th of February. And then the same mixtape came out with he had like 5 songs on it on the 12th of February. And so when I heard him last year, I just heard the one song and I heard his name. You're thinking it's just a one-hit wonder, but then I heard him on the radio Saturday with DJ Who Kid. Now, DJ Who Kid has a show on Satellite Radio on Eminem station. Hip hop Shay 4-5 every Saturday. So Pop Smoke was on the radio just this past Saturday promoting his new mixtape. So they were playing his music, and then so that's the first time he really caught my attention that time. So basically he got to this point where he was like the hottest buzzing rapper in the industry since basically from last July until now. He had the biggest buzz in New York, and I just heard of him. I only heard the one song, but now when he played his other mixtape, he had a few more songs, and on the top charts, they have a top charts on Tidal, where basically they discuss what the best songs are in each region. So on the East Coast, he had 6 songs, 6 out of the top 30 songs from the East Coast region. He was involved with one of the songs. So 6 out of 30, that's a pretty good ratio, right?
That's 20% of the songs, yeah, 1/5.
Yeah, so he had a crazy buzz. So to me, I think it's what they do, whether they're dying or not, is that they're trying to take these rappers out at the height of their buzz. Like Tentacion, when he supposedly got killed, he was at the height of his buzz. Same thing with Juice WRLD just a few months ago. He was at the height of his buzz. Same thing with Nipsey Hussle. Now, next month will be a year since Nipsey Hussle supposedly passed, right? 1 year anniversary is next month.
March 31st.
And so, but they took him out at the height of his buzz. So Pop Smoke, nobody even really knew about him, but he was just at that point where, and it's not even about the music being good or bad. You could tell, I follow hip hop closely, so you could tell when the media is trying to promote a certain rapper, whether the music's good or not. You could tell when somebody's on the verge of blowing up. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
All right, so let's. I want to talk about it in a different way now.
Hold up, though. Hold up. I got to rewind
yeah.
to something you said. You said he put out a mixtape on February 7th?
Yeah, February 7th.
So that's the 38th day of the year. And then Pop Smoke's 38, like rapper, like killing, like murder, like death, like R.I.P., like how he's dead, renting John Mellencamp's daughter's house, who's 38 years old right now. So just one more 38.
It's crazy. It's literally. I'll tell you. I'll show you how crazy this is. Hold on. 1 second. Okay. Just yesterday, because my daughter follows hip hop too. So I asked her. I sent her a text just yesterday at 10:22 a.m. on the West Coast. I'm on the West Coast now. And I said, "You ever heard of Pop Smoke?" I sent that at 10:23 a.m. She texts back, "No, what is that?" And I text back, "He's a rapper from Brooklyn. He's taking over the radio in New York." I sent that yesterday. And then less than 24 hours later, he's dead.
Huh. Crazy.
So, but check this out, right? Now, here's an article, right? Now, and I give you credit for the way you read articles. You put me up on game on that. Like, look at these details that are unnecessary, right? So, like, it opens, like when you read, it's almost like you got to know how to read. And I know reading is a lost art, but it's very important to read and to read how they put unnecessary details in the story, right? And you put me up on that. So, okay, so the 20-year-old rapper died after he was shot Wednesday morning at a home in Hidden Hills, a gated community in the West San Fernando Valley, according to the Los Angeles Police Department. Okay, detectives believe it was a gang-related shooting. Right? Now check this out. Gang-related equals 59. Hidden Hills equals 59 in the purest cipher, like the number stamped all over black people, right? So I think it would be hard for some gangsters at 4:30 in the morning to get through a gated community in the West San Fernando Valley.
Right. Indeed.
You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. I mean, I'm just thinking about like the gated rich communities outside of Seattle. They have like security that work the front, and I mean these people aren't nearly as rich as the people up in Beverly Hills. So I know they got the same thing going on there. So they probably would have had to go through some armed security, get through a gate. Exactly. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm glad you caught that detail about Hidden Hills because it also sums to 193, the 44th prime, and there's 44 all over this story. And again, Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent is 44 years old right now. Jackson equals 44. Both of their surnames are Jackson. And again, 50 Cent got famous with the song How to Rob. This guy's killed in a robbery on the 50th day of the year in the Mellencamp house, and Mellencamp's 50. So go ahead, Jonathan.
Yeah, exactly. But this is the thing now. They said he got killed at 4:30 in the morning, right?
Right.
So, okay, so think about it. Going through some gated security at 4:30 in the morning. So they say he passed away at 4:30 a.m. 43 equals R.I.P. in Gematria. Sean Price died at 43 years old. He was another rapper from Brooklyn. Biggie was a rapper from Brooklyn. Tupac was born in Brooklyn. Jay-Z was born in Brooklyn. So, it's something about being from Brooklyn. So now look at this. Now just think about this logically now. When these rappers down, he just barely had a buzz. Like I said, he was like at that point where he was about to just blow up, right? He's only been out for 7 months. So if you're just getting out the hood, right? You come out with a song last summer, You came out with a mixtape. Now here's another mixtape. So you're just now getting a buzz. So why would you just automatically move to Hollywood? Like, nobody even knows who you are, and you're already moving to Hollywood?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. It's and most of the times, if somebody's going to kill you, it's going to be somebody from your own neighborhood. Somebody who's hating on you because they saw you come up. You see what I'm saying? Like, who's going to hate on you in Hollywood? Nobody even knows you. You see what I'm saying?
Well, they put out this narrative that they were showing like something, and the address was on it on the Instagram. So some people that were jealous, they got wind of it through the Instagram post, the address where he's at. That's the narrative they put out for the mainstream.
They found the address through an Instagram post that he put?
That he accidentally posted it in some picture, right?
Okay, but my point is that if you're buzzing, your haters are going to come from your own backyard, not way across the country.
Right.
And, okay, Pop Smoke is a Crip. Crip equals 46 and also 62. Sacrifice equals 46 as well as 62. And now you listen to his music, all he talks about is killing and killing on every song. Just killing, and how nobody could ever touch him, and how he's untouchable, right?
Right.
So listen, check this out. So he's got a song called King of New York, but it's called King of NY.
Wait a minute, man. Wait a minute. So he has a song called King of New York, because I've been talking about this all day, because he also has a song about Christopher Walken, which is a tribute to Christopher Walken, who played Frank White, King of New York. And then that song came out 77 days before Christopher Walken's 77th birthday. And of course, Notorious B.I.G. rapped about Frank White all the time. And he died in L.A., being from Brooklyn, and died in the same hospital. And then 50 Cent's show just ended, Power. Power's a gangster show. Power equals 77. That show just ended. In that show, 50 Cent kills his son. And then think about this dude's name. Pop Smoke, like getting smoked by your pops. I didn't know he had this song, King of New York. So see, I've been talking about that all day, and I didn't even know that. But this thing is all. Go ahead.
But listen, this is what's so crazy about it. But the way the song is written is King of NY.
Okay.
Right? So King of NY equals 47 and 115. And wasn't it 115 days until Christopher Walken's birthday?
No. He put out the song Christopher Walken in tribute to Christopher Walken on January 15th, 115. So I see this now, King of NY's 115. See, it's just all so perfect, man. And then that song came out 77 days before Christopher Walken's 77th birthday. And then Power's 77, like the 50 Cent show that just ended where he kills his son.
No, but okay, but what happened in Power, Zach? Okay, I'll tell you what happened in Power. So two best friends, right? Two best friends. They started from high school, and they grow up. They started from high school like they were like 18 in '96. So they started in high school. They started selling drugs in Queens. Okay, so the show started like 6 years ago. It just ended, right? So, but what happened in Power? It's a black man, it's a black dude, and his best friend is a white dude. And the white dude is Jewish. Okay, so two best friends. One is black, the other one's Jewish, right? The two biggest, they get to the point where 20-some years later, right? 25 years later, they're the biggest drug dealers in New York. What happens at the end? The black man gets murdered, and the Jewish man, he escapes to California. End of story. That's the whole story right there.
Man, these people literally get away with murder, man. I hate it, man.
They put it right in your face. Now, the white dude, he killed just as many people as the black dude did. You know, like they committed just as many crimes. Like the white dude might have killed 30 people, and the black dude killed 30 people too, and they sold just as many drugs. you know. But at the end of the show, the black guy gets killed and the white Jewish guy escapes scot-free.
Oh my God. Yeah, man. It's a mockery. It's a mockery. Okay.
So
when did that King of NY song come out? Do you know? Everything's recent, huh? Because he hasn't been around that long.
Yeah, it is recent. Yeah. Let me see.
And it's just like how Notorious B.I.G., his death had a lot to do with 115. Puff Daddy put out his No Way Out album 115 days after his death, and I forget, like No Way Out's 115 or something, but again, Masonic 115, Killing 115, shows up all the time. So.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, then I was listening to a song, and he was like, I'm the king of New York. I'm like, who does this dude think he is? He just came out.
I was folding laundry today and watching his recent interviews on radio shows, and he did think he was the king of the world, man. I was listening to this guy talk. I was like, dude, you're okay. Yeah, man.
Well, as far as the part where you say could 50 Cent be his dad, possibly he really looks like him. But according to what Wikipedia says, they say that his mother's Panamanian and his father's Panamanian and his mother's Jamaican. That's what Wikipedia says, but that could be a lie too. So you could be on point with that because they do look similar.
And they got the same Jackson. They're both Jackson too. It's the 50th day of the year. I mean, if they're not father and son, man, I think they're definitely relatives.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah, and then in that same article I was reading, they put in the same article I was reading about how it happened in the West San Fernando Valley. 50 Cent in the article they put 50 Cent wrote, "No such thing as success without jealousy." Rapper 50 Cent tweeted, "Treachery comes from those who are close." So why are they including a 50 Cent tweet in this article? You see what I'm saying? Like these two rappers, they don't have supposedly they don't have nothing to do with each other, but they're including a 50 Cent tweet in this article. For what reason?
Right, exactly. And watch all the radio interviews he did in recent weeks because everyone compared him to 50 Cent. And like, I'm not the biggest hip hop head in the world, but I did listen to some of this guy's songs. I was like, this guy sounds absolutely nothing like 50 Cent. There's like nothing that's comparable. Well, what do you think?
At all, no, they don't sound alike at all. No, there's nothing you can compare them to other than their looks. Yes, they do look similar.
Right.
You know? And why? And it's just too crazy. Like, I'm trying to find out when this King of New York song came out. I'll get it here after the breaks.
Okay. Well, the break is about to start. But yeah, I see, if you just type in Pop Smoke and King of New York, there's all sorts of stuff. There's even articles written as Pop Smoke, the new King of New York. So this has been going on.
Oh. Okay.
We'll be right back, everybody. Okay. Commercial break. Back, Truth Seeker. We're at the midway point. Just did a little vote in the chat, and the chat might be biased here, but it was 1 if you think Curtis Jackson, who is 50 Cent, and Pop Smoke, who is Bashar Jackson, are related. 2 if not, and I'd say the 1's got at least 80% of the vote, so I'd say about 8 out of 10 people here are thinking there is definitely a relationship. Maybe it's not father-son, but could be cousin, uncle, something. I see a physical resemblance, the same surname, and I mean the 50th day of the year and all this other stuff. It just there's too many parallels there.
Right, and 50 Cent being 44 years old, the kill number.
Jackson's 44. How to Rob, his hit song that he broke out with, equals 44, and then this kid's killed in a robbery. I mean, I see the riddle right there through the music too.
Yeah, but that's. So actually, just to clarify, I don't think he has a song called King of New York because I was looking it up, but I think that's just what he was calling himself, and he said it in a few raps that he's the king in New York, but it might not actually be a song called King of New York.
Okay, well that's all right. The headlines are everywhere, so the comparison is being made. So it all makes sense. I was already just leaning on that because I was like, Christopher Walken, Notorious B.I.G., Frank White. I mean, it was already all there already. So, and you know what? Now that I think about it, the name Frank equals 50, and it's the 50th day of the year. So,
yeah, this to me has to be a sacrifice for 50 Cent's career, because he basically transitioned from music to making TV shows, because they consider Empower such a success that they're really trying to milk this show. So they made like 5 spinoffs. They made like 5 spinoffs off the one show, because it was the biggest show that Stars ever had on their network. So it's almost like a celebration for 50 Cent's career, as sick as that sounds.
It clearly is. I mean, that's exactly what it is. And I wish, because again, it's like, back in the day when Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. died, they were relatively young men, but they'd already built up like these huge music resumes. And now you're seeing these rappers almost get the same kind of press that Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. did at the time of their deaths, but it's like, wait a minute, these people don't have the resume. And it's like everybody knew who Tupac and Notorious B.I.G. were. Even people, even my parents had heard their names, but they didn't know anything about their music just because their names were out there. And now it's like, like Nipsey Hussle dies. Okay, I understand some people knew who Nipsey Hussle was, but most people didn't, including myself. I'd never heard of him before he died, but then right away they were comparing him to Nipsey Hussle to Notorious B.I.G. to Tupac. It's like, no, I mean, there's no way this is the same. When that XXS Tentacion died, they compared him to Notorious B.I.G. It's like, wait a minute, man. I mean,
right.
So
right. These people, they don't even have the resume that even compares to Tupac or Biggie's catalog. They don't even have the quality music that could even compare. You see what I'm saying? It's like 2 different levels. Like Tupac and Biggie was on a whole nother level than XXXTentacion and Juice WRLD and Pop Smoke. Just as far as the quality of music. Their music is, Pac's and Biggie's music is timeless. People still listen to that today. 20 years from now, ain't nobody going to be listening to Pop Smoke or Juice WRLD.
But here's the other thing, man.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it speaks to the time we're in, too, because it's like when we were growing up, it was like there was Snickers bar. There was Skittles, right? It wasn't like it wasn't like a new flavor of Skittles or Snickers bar came out that was like going to last for 2 or 3 months and get all this advertising and then gone. It's kind of like that with everything. So it's like they bring these rappers out of nowhere. They make them huge overnight. They die overnight. As soon as you learn their name, they're already dead. And then their music, it's big on the radio or streaming for like the next 6 months. And then it's the next guy out of nowhere. And then before you know it, he's dead. It's like,
exactly. It's not funny. It's just, but we figured out what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's not funny. It's just the fact that it's so sick. Like it's just so sick what they do. I would be like, I've always loved hip hop, right? And I made hip hop, but I never wanted to be in the industry because of stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to die just because I made a song. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I don't. Yeah, it's crazy. It's like basically like, and then I have a video on my YouTube channel about this, about how there's just the music industry alone is like one of the most, especially rap, is one of the most deadliest professions you can go into.
Right. And I was listening to one of the radio hosts today talk about his untimely death, and he's like, we got to ask the question why this isn't happening in other genres of music. And in a way it is. It's not as rampant, but at the same time it was like, well, these other musicians, they aren't making songs that are solely based about bragging about how many people they killed and, taking up. So, I mean, the whole culture of mainstream hip hop, I mean, it's pretty dark. And, you know, when you're talking about a man who made a few songs that, and like every single song had to do with, you know, killing and all these other things, and then his
But that's the thing. All his songs about, even the song about "Welcome to the Party," he's talking about "Don't mess with me, I'll smoke you." But the thing is, okay, if all these rappers like Pop Smoke, they talking about how you can never get close to them, you can never touch them, you can never rob them. How come they're always getting robbed and killed? It's like, you know, you're supposed to be a member of, you're supposed to be a Crip, right? Just what you're saying on your songs, nobody can touch you. So how can somebody come in your house in a gated community at 4:30 in the morning in Beverly Hills, kill you, and the killer just walks out apparently? What happened? What about your homeboys? What about your homeboys? If you have, you say you're a Crip, you should have some of your homeboys with you, right? So are they going to just let the murderer just walk out the door and not retaliate? It's the same thing with Nipsey. Like, Nipsey, he's supposed to be this super Crip. So you're standing in front of your store, some random dude just comes up, kills you, and your homeboys, all of them run, nobody retaliates. That's like if me and you were hanging out, somebody kills you, you think I'm going to let the killer get away? You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no retaliation at all, but you rapping about how you're the super gangster, super Crip, nobody can touch you. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
The stories never add up. Just like the Tupac story too doesn't make any sense. I mean, anyone who's been to Vegas, there's nowhere to go on the Strip. I mean, that road's a traffic jam. I mean, how are you going to get away there? None of these stories ever make any sense. So, Jonathan, there's a lot of people on hold. You want to take some calls?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go out to Illinois.